Hi friends, it's Liz here at Liz the Paper Project. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be making the ephemera holder that I shared a video of just I guess the video before this one. So y'all wanted to see how I made this one. So I thought I would start by showing you that's what we'll be making. And then at the end of the video, if you stay for that, I'll show you a few different ways that I also like to store my ephemera. And there's a few of those that I've shared previously in case you don't remember seeing it or you've missed it. I'll just show you some of those other ephemera holder ideas that I have. I like to reuse, repurpose whenever possible. So and also I love to use, you know, just things that would end up in recycling. Okay, so to get started, I thought I would make a spring themed ephemera holder similar to the one I showed before. So this is 12 by 12 single-sided paper. You can of course use your double-sided if you want to. This isn't a very thick, you know, piece for the cover, but I don't mind it because I really like the florals, and it of course visually, as soon as I see it, I'll know this is my spring one, where I'll be keeping spring type of ephemera that I'll be using, you know, for projects coming up. So this is just some paper that I got from, I believe, one of the Michaels paper pads. And then we'll also be using, I also like these craft colored cardstock. They're from Michaels. They're the 8.5 by 11. Nothing fancy there. So we'll take our paper. Now I'm using paper that I can use in any direction. Okay, I like to do that whenever I'm working on something that I'm doing pretty quick and I don't have to think too much about it. So we're going to take our 12 by 12 and we're going to cut it to 8.5 because that's the size that I want to make my folder. I like that size to work with, and it's basically the size that is here. You can see just it's, you know, big enough to hold like a little book. And I really like that size. So I'll cut that up and I'll show you what that looks like. So the 12 by 12, I'm going to cut it to 10 by 12. Okay. And then I took the longest side and I scored it in half. So this gives you the folder size. At the 8.5 mark, so you can see that would be it, I did another score line so that I could have this little bottom part as a pocket, because I want to, you know, to kind of not have to glue anything back on, etc. So I figured that works well. So now we have an 8.5 by 6 size. Okay, so that should be fairly standard when we're making like folders and that sort of thing. So let me just repeat. I cut my 12 by 12 to 10 by 12, scored on the long side, so the 12-inch side at 6, and then on the 10-inch side we scored at 8.5 so that we could fold that up and make our pocket. Okay, so that's easy peasy for that. We have this piece left over from it, of course, and we're going to be using that to add the additional pockets to the cover. So again, you can cut this in half and we can just start adding the pockets where we want to. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is just in the center. Let me see if I'm in frame. Yes, so that center area here, we're going to just take off like a tiny little bit in the center there. I probably cut too much on this side, but that's okay, no big deal. And the reason I'm doing that is so that it folds better when we're, you know, trying to keep this together. All right, so that's that there. These sheets, we're going to also take our 8.5 by 11 sheets, and I'm just going to fold those in half. Now you can use as many as you want, or I'm just using 2 for this particular project. And also because I find that because I'm not using them to store like, you know, an entire collection, probably just storing things that maybe are for one project, so I can keep those handy. Okay, so then we have 2 pieces folded in half, and then our cover. Now, let me just get my other pieces here. Okay, so I've taken that extra strip that we had left, I've folded that in half, and now I'm just going to cut it in half again. I could use my paper trimmer, but I find that this is just as easy if I line it up properly. Okay, and now we've got 2 pieces that we can use. So the first thing I'm going to do here is glue down these bottom pockets, and that should be fairly easy to manage here. And so I hope you are all doing well today and you're having some crafty time. I did want to say thank you so much for the comments for, of course, the last video. I often wonder, you know, which pieces that I share with you you actually want to see a tutorial on, and which ones you don't really need to see that. So I did have quite a few of you requesting this quick how-to video, so that's why I decided I'm going to do that. So basically, I'm going to now be adding these, what I call, what we're going to make our pockets, I should say. I've just added glue to 3 sides, and then I'm just going to position these where I think they should go. I'm going to do the same to the other side and come back. Okay, so one thing I wanted to mention while I'm showing you this, I like the fact that it's a single-sided sheet of cardstock that I used, because that means that whatever I'm sticking in the pockets will be very visible. It won't be there won't be background, you know, colors or designs. And so that's why I kind of like to use that as well. And then, you know, you've got a little bit of decorative on the pockets, which is also kind of nice to see sometimes. So anyways, so that's the start of our cover, and I am going to round the top of the cover off, because I kind of like to have the round edges at the top. It's just nicer for some reason when we're cutting. And if you have like little bits left over, of course, when you fold paper in half, it tends to kind of, you know, push paper out a little bit, especially from the center out. So I just kind of like to cut that out. All right, so we're done with that. Now the next part, super easy. These are just the 2 that we folded in half. I'm just going to basically make like a little signature with it, and then we are attaching that to our cover. One thing I wanted to mention is, in order to attach these, I'm going to staple them in. I happen to have one of those long stapler pieces to do that. However, you could certainly stitch these in. I do have videos showing you how I stitch signatures onto covers. You could use a paper punch and just punch 2 holes and then attach it with, you know, a ribbon. I also have videos showing you how to do that. But for this video, I'm just going to staple them in because for me, it's much easier to do that for this project. So I'll come back in a minute and show you what that looks like. Okay, so as you can see, I've just used 3 staples to attach it. Again, you can attach it by punching 2 holes on either side and putting string through it. And or you can stitch it, you know, with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, which we use a lot. But because I wanted this project to be super easy, I decided to use my staple. Okay, so now the next thing obviously is the rest of the pockets that we make. So I'm using these white strips of paper, and they happen to be from something I'm repurposing. This was, I think, like a photo album, something or other, and so it comes with all these little perforated pieces. So those are the ones that I'm using. Again, I wanted to keep it very neutral, so I didn't want to have a lot of you know, anything sort of patterny that I would have to be kind of fighting against when it comes to adding my ephemera. And so I kind of wanted that neutral. And so here I'm just deciding, you know, where I would want my pockets to go. For the last project, I did 2, so I'm kind of liking the 2. So I think I'll stick with that with this as well. Because I find that some pieces are taller, so they can go from the bottom up, and then shorter pieces can go from the top to bottom. So again, I'm just going to add glue to this piece. Now, because this is a little bit longer than my page, I'm just sort of eyeballing it when it comes to where I'm adding glue on this side. And then this is going to be my bottom. And I think I'm going to line it up a little bit with this side here so that it kind of looks nice and straight there. Yeah, I think that's good. And then this one I'm going to add at the bottom, same thing. I'm just going to eyeball where I'm putting the glue on this side. I could have cut it ahead of time, but I'm going to cut that after. I'm trying to make this project as easy as possible. You can certainly cut strips, and I'm going to let you know the size of these strips in case, you know, you like the size of what these are. But you can cut yours to any size. They can be wider, they can be thinner. These ones happen to be, where's my ruler? These ones happen to be, I think, about an inch and a quarter. Okay, that's the depth of it. And then the length, of course, of my page is going to be 5.5. But these ones are a little longer, but I'm cutting them. So basically I'm cutting them to fit my pages, and they just happen to be about an inch and a quarter deep. And I do like that. I mean, I could certainly write maybe something if I wanted to on that. But for now, I'm just showing you that's what it looks like. So of course, now we have that extra bit. I'm just going to cut that off. So here we go. You can see now we've got our nice pocket, and we just continue that the entire way. That's it. I'm not going to do it all with you here, but of course I'll show you again what it looks like when it's finished. This is the one I originally showed you. These are my little ephemera pieces that I added to it. Of course, you don't need to add strips to everything. You could certainly add like a pocket like I did on that side as well. And then you see how nice that kind of holds all your lovely ephemera pieces together. So anyways, there's that. Okay, I'm going to just quickly show you some other ideas on what I've previously done for holding ephemera and making things to put ephemera in. So we'll start with these ones. I showed you how we made these a little while back. I will link that video below for you as well. I love these so much because they are reusing and repurposing junk mail envelopes and book pages. Okay, so if you wanted to see how we put this together, this does not need any staples to attach it. I show you how to attach these with just using glue, and you have all these different pockets that you can, you know, you can use. You have top pockets, you have center pockets, and you can just keep adding to this as much as you want. And then we did another version where we left the window open, and then on one side we have more windows. Okay, this happens to be all ephemera from my printables. So that's from my Polaroids. This is from my mini ephemera kits. Okay, this is all from there. And you see how one side we have the nice large pockets, and then the other side we have smaller little pockets that we can use. And so this is where I'm keeping some of my mini ephemera from my printables, so that if I need something, you know, I want a little Polaroid, or I want just a little piece of ephemera to put something, I know that this is where I come. I will be filling up the rest of these pockets. So I show you how to make these in that video, which I will link below. All right, the next one. Again, this is reusing and repurposing many things, which I love to do. So when I'm going to be working on a project, particularly for like a certain designer, maybe, because I do have some design team projects that I work on, I like to keep things together. And so for this particular one, I just used these like canning jars, and they happen to fit the envelopes. These are just repurposed, recycled envelopes. Hope you can see that there. And then I just added like my own labels to them, right? And these hold, like, if I want flowers, I know I have flowers in this one. If I want postcards, I have postcards in this one. This one has different types of labels, that sort of thing, right? So it's easy for me to just remember, of course, the designer I'm working with, and then I know that, oh, I need a label from that designer or something like that. So I have to keep some of my ephemera separate from the rest because, like I said, I work with some designers. This is Digital Collage Club. I do have a coupon code for them if you're interested. I'll link that below. And you know, this is one way to keep ephemera organized as well. So there's that one. And let me show you a few more. Here's another easy way to keep ephemera. So this is primarily for my die cuts. I have a lot of dies and I do a lot of die cutting. Okay, so I haven't quite sorted these yet. I've just sort of started putting them in these pockets. Okay, and you can see at a glance, I will have an idea of the items I have and also what they look like when I've die cut them. So if I, you know, I'm looking for flowers, a particular style, I can see what I have. Same goes with the different types of words and sentiments. And then there's more there. So these I still have to sort. I've just sort of put them here because I finished them. But that's kind of another way that I like to organize my die cut pieces. And I just use these sheets from like my local dollar store. I do, I believe Amazon carries some of these, and I will link those below in case, you know, you just wanted to buy something quick from Amazon and have it delivered. So I'll put some of those links as well, but that's one other way. And let me show you the last and fun way. All right, this one I put together quickly as well. I was working on something else and I had done a lot of fussy cutting. And so I wanted to also have a quick and easy way to maybe travel with it if I wanted to. Let me show you what this looks like. Okay, again, I've used my stapler. I wanted something quick and easy. And then now I just have pockets with all the different ephemera that I can use for my projects. Some of them I've started fussy cutting, some of them I've sort of left as is, and then you can see I can easily just access these just by pulling things out, and I can refill it, of course, by pulling things in. So I don't know if you want to see me make this one as well or how I make it, but I just repurposed photo album pages. And I wanted to have access to them this way because I find it easier to pull things in and take things out. So you can see I'm still filling this up. And then, of course, the way I folded my cover, I just did a tuck on the, you know, the pockets, just like I showed you with the other one. But these ones are like deeper and smaller. And now I can just, you know, fold this and take it with me. Or it can even travel flat because you know, everything's kind of laid out nicely, so I don't have to worry about bulk as well. So yeah, so these are my ideas, friends, on, you know, putting your ephemera away or storing it or making something really cute and fun to hold your pieces in. Sorry about that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up if you did. Leave a comment below. Let me know which one's your favorite. I will link my videos below. I have made several different type of ephemera holders on my channel. I will link as many of those as I can find because I've made them, you know, folders and different flips and flops and that sort of thing. But these are like my, I would say my most basic ones for when I just want to really keep something quickly organized. For example, as I said, this is for going to be some of my spring items. But this is for, like, again, you know, keeping a certain designer. This is for, again, Digital Collage Club. So it's like I go through steps. I put them in my envelopes first, and then when I've cut things up properly, or I'm starting to, I'll sort them this way. You know, it could be with themes like birds or butterflies or flowers. It's however works for you. So I use these different ways for myself because I'm not only visual, but I remember things. Like, I know what I have in this particular one. I know what I have in this one. so it's like I know already just from seeing things in my little basket what I need to pull out and what I'll be using. So work with what works with you, and hopefully one of these ideas helps you. If it does, let me know below which one. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be back soon with more tutorials and creative ideas. Thanks so much for stopping by.